Hello, Connective. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Subscribe, comment, and like without smashing anything, and let's get into this energy. This is a collective reading for Cancer. Cancer, we've already gotten your overlying and underlying energies from the Akashic Tarot and from the Universal Law deck. It's kind of interesting. Couple cards came out while I was shuffling before the reading and I put them back in. One of them came out again, and that was in the underlying energy. So as soon as we get the energy oracle cards to come out, we'll talk about what we saw. Well, I can already tell you, Cancer, that this reading is talking about breaking karmic cycles. You're in some kind of cycle that you're trying to get out of. It's not just, or possibly could not just be from this lifetime. The card mentions that you came down to this, in this carnation to fix this, and what's happening is you're digging your hole deeper. This is all of us. This isn't just Cancer. This is the reason why, we keep coming back to this planet, trying to sort things out. The problem is that this planet is so heavy that we get stuck. We get stuck back in whatever we came down here to clear. A lot of times we get stuck back in it, especially if we let things like revenge and things take over, and then we start creating like more karma with the same people, like in different lives, or we start creating new karma with like new people in our lives. And in a sense that does denote digging the trench deeper. And it could be the situation that you're dealing with, that you came down here to deal with, but it also could be like other situations that are compounding on top of this. Just as a side note, just as a thought, a lot of times this kind of thing can happen, like when we're in some kind of argument or disagreement and we like have to have the last word, or we have to say that thing that hurts that person's feelings or whatever. Sometimes it's not something that simple. Sometimes, we do something that's not, it's not just about saying it, it's about doing something to someone else on the way out, which is creating more karma. But even if you meet somebody on the street and you do something terrible, you just created karma with them. And then if you get into the situation, and I believe this card talked about this too, where you don't, forgive, like you don't allow things to cycle out of your energy field, this is what you're bringing, and then this is what you're perpetuating, and then this is what you're bringing more of. Okay, I think it's done talking. We do have enough cards, so we're going to go ahead and put these off to the side. I don't even want to know what I can't see right now. Let's talk about the underlying and overlying energy. I just saw the walking away card. All right, that's not a bad thing in this situation. I kind of saw it like right when stuff started coming out. I was like, oh, okay, we're moving away from this and moving away from that. So the first card out of the, for the Akashic Tarot for the overlying energy is the Four of Scrolls, the Karmic Trench. So this is what I'm talking about. I have not even seen this card. I don't even remember seeing this card when I was flipping through it, like in my initial flip through when I bought this deck like a couple years ago. This card was new to me this morning when it came out. And, it pretty much said everything, but then when I read the card, it just kind of reinforced everything. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this because it's basically the thing that you're doing that's keeping you where you are. And let's do overlying first, and then we'll do underlying. So for your overlying energy out of the Universal Law deck, we have the Law of Transmutation. Energize the mental picture of your dream. So this is kind of telling me just right now that some of you that are like in these karmic trenches, the part of the reason why you're in it, or you're still in it, is because you're not thinking differently than how you've thought before, and so you're still standing in the same place, like digging the same hole. This card actually talked about you've already dug a bunch of holes, but you haven't planted anything because you're still digging holes, which is exactly what we're talking about here when we're talking about perpetuating our own karma, right? The karmic trench. So then as the underlying energy, so we have the Two of Scrolls, the two worlds came out. So this kind of told me that you're moving away from this. Even if you don't feel it yet, you might still be firmly entrenched in the trench. You're moving away from it. That's what this law of transmutation is. It's getting ready to change this situation. And then these two worlds are like, you've either been toggling or you're kind of just standing right in the middle, ready to like exit this old energy. But it needs a little bit of help. It needs your help to fully cycle out. The universe still has it kind of hanging around you because there's either still a belief or there's something you're still doing, something like that, right? So the card that came out and then I put it back in and then it came out again was the law of divinity. Within you is the same source that created the entire universe. I mean, this card is saying a lot, like separate and with the reading. Separate from the reading, this card again is we are all one. It's why I call you connective. But also, you know, people know that they have like a universal or like a God light in them, but they don't know what it means. Or they understand like they can, I was going to say regurgitate the words. That's not what I meant. But they can say it, but they don't necessarily understand. They don't embody it. You know, but this is kind of saying that, you know, you're of God, like being stuck in this trench and being stuck in pretty much with the 3Ds. This card a lot comes out like the, you know, toggling back and forth between the 3D and the 5D. And the 5D is always how we're trying to, you know, transcend things. And the 3D is kind of like what we get stuck in. I mean, nobody ever complained about getting stuck in the 5D, right? Like, it's one of those, and it's heavier anyway. So even if you were stuck in the 5D, you wouldn't complain about it because it would be more pleasant than being stuck in the 3D. A lot of times when you're stuck in the 3D, you're not stuck in something that's pleasant. So the two worlds is on the table talking about 3D and 5D, but then also you have, hey, you don't have to be in this hole. You can be of your own nature. You can remember who you are, and you could go back to what, you know, where you basically in your head, where you came from, to let go of some of this stuff that's like keeping you around, keeping you having to learn the same lessons over and over again. And I say it like that, but really when we're doing that, we're not really learning the same lessons over again. We're just reliving the same thing that we're supposed to relive to learn the lesson. It looks a little different to the person that's experiencing, that doesn't understand what's happening. So we had the karmic trench come out, and then this was underneath the law of divinity. This is the law of karma. And you are being called to a higher purpose. So again, coming down here to change something with your karma, and then being stuck in it, and then having the universe say, well, you're going to get out of it anyway. This is what we're talking about, the law of transmutation. You're going to get out of it anyway. Might not feel good, but you're going to get out of it, right? Actually reminds me of something. And I heard something the other day about, you know, everybody's heart chakra is getting upgraded. Well, fourth chakra. Archangel Raphael, heart chakra. Everybody's heart chakra is getting upgraded, right? Not just light workers or empaths, but everybody, right? And this is actually supposed to help us to get through the stuff that we've been trying to get through, this stuff that we're talking about here, these karmic trenches, the stuff we came down to fix or change, law of transmutation, that we haven't been able to do yet because we've been too busy getting caught up in what we're trying to deal with, and then kind of like getting stuck in it, reliving it, carrying it around with us, however you want to call it. So this like universal heart chakra upgrade is supposed to actually help everybody move through what they're trying to do more effectively, like on their own, you know, power kind of thing. But it might not feel good as things are healing in your heart. I'd swear, like a couple weeks ago, I felt like I was having a heart attack. It wasn't just one day, and I was like, what in the hell's going on, right? It hurt. And so, you know, I suspect, and I always say, you know, don't assume that you know what's going on with yourself. I've seen plenty of readings with mediums where somebody was like, I didn't feel good and then I died. Yeah, if you don't feel good, go to the doctor. But doctor doesn't find anything. It's a possibility that we're going through could be spiritual. And, you know, if you've been feeling it right here, this could be what I'm talking about. It could be what I'm talking about. Nobody's saying don't go to the doctor. Let's find another angel, because I could have sworn I saw one. Yes. So we also have 5th chakra, Archangel Gabriel. Interestingly enough, our throat's on the table as well. So there's a possibility that part of transmuting and getting out of some of this stuff is needing to speak up for ourselves. I kind of take it as needing to speak up for ourselves, or possibly that we can't, but I can also see that our heart chakra is affected by what's going on. Of course it would be. Another angel. So I have the angel of love. Hadn't even thought about this in this reading, but this is coming up. So we have the angel of love on the table. We'll see if there's romance involved, or if this is just about our capacity to love. And then we have the woman holding a heart. So I always say it could be a man, could be a woman, could be holding anything. It's probably a heart. We've got the heart chakra on the table. We have the angel of love on the table holding a heart. And then we have a woman holding a heart. So I saw, yeah, this isn't terrible. All right, where's that other one? Yeah, let's just do walking away. Okay, so again, most likely we're walking away from this trench this karmic trench that we're in. You know, we're either trying to climb out of the hole to walk away, or we're walking away, or we realize that we have to walk away. Like we're at a point where we're like, okay, I'm tired of, I know that if I make this move that I've been making, I'm going to get the same thing that I've been getting. I don't want to do that anymore. I need to come up with another plan, which actually has to do with the strategy card that also came out, right? So we're going to put this over here with walking away. All right, and then we have the garden and the gate. This is also walking away. A lot of times this is contemplating walking away. So we're standing at the gate. She actually has the key around her neck. She could let herself out at any time. The book for this card actually says that the abundance is out there. If you go through the gate, the abundance is out in that field. But, you know, we're thinking about whether or not we want to go because we're comfortable in the garden, right? So heart on the table 3 times, walking away on the table 2 times. And then we have 2 different cards that are offering us abundance. So cornucopia, I always say if you go to a party and there's a cornucopia, it's everything you would ever want. It's kind of like the Hunger Games. Everything that's in the cornucopia is anything that anybody might want, right? You couldn't think of anything that's not in this cornucopia, so I always call it everything. And then you have blossoming abundance separately from the cornucopia. So again, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about abundance twice. This is a lot. There's a lot of pain here, but there's a lot of reward here. A lot of times when we're sitting in the pain, we can't see what's coming. We can't see where we're headed, especially if we're doing the work, because we can still feel what we're going through. This karmic trench here, right? This is like reoccurring over and over and over again. Let me just dig another hole, but not plant anything kind of thing, right? This a lot of times is us. Other people can be very difficult. Like say if the karmic trench is a relationship. Let's say it's, I don't know why I brought this up, but let's say it's a relationship with a narcissist, right? And so you have all this stuff that you bring with you that is wholesome, you know, that for this relationship that you want to thrive and flourish. But a lot of times with narcissists, I was gonna say killing things. I didn't mean, it wasn't what I was thinking of, but I feel like look, I'm not a narcissist, I wouldn't know, but I feel like when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they already know it's not gonna work. The reason why they know it's not gonna work is because they're going to kill it. And that's their MO. Like even if they weren't able to tell the future, they would know that they're gonna kill it because that's what they do. Who in the world are you? This is like the card of discovering yourself when somebody's messed with you pretty much. And this is set your course, which is kind of like what we're talking about with the strategy. There might be a person involved for me to be bringing up narcissism with 3 hearts on the table and walking away with the garden and the gate. Let's see what Alice has to say. See, this looks really promising. And a lot of times we see it. We see someone that we know and love. It could just be a friend. And they get into this bad relationship and that person comes in there and they stir all this stuff up to the point where our friend isn't even really our friend anymore. They're lost, right? And then they manage to get out of that relationship and we're like, yay, they got out of that relationship. And then they go find somebody just like them. And we're like, what the hell? That's the wake up card. Sorry, Cancer. I get it. We're not in the extended, but I'll tell you a story. I mean, it's not a story, but it's a realization, like from a short story. Talking about karmic trenches. I haven't really shared this very much. I do say stuff sometimes. I do allude to things. I talk about soulmates and stuff like that, but I don't really identify my soulmates. I don't talk about it. My relationship with my mother wasn't so hot. It would be many years before I would really realize some things about her that weren't conducive to having a good relationship. It's not totally her fault. I had qualities too. I was angry. But, you know, I felt powerless when I was dealing with my own mother. So I didn't deal with her the way I should have dealt with her. Like as an adult, when you're becoming an adult and you get like empowered and you start speaking up, you're speaking your truth, not in a disrespectful way, just in a way where you're letting other people know where you're coming from kind of thing. Hey, this is what I will and will not tolerate. Sometimes you can have parents who will respect that. They say, oh, my child is, you know, standing up for themselves. They're speaking up. I'm going to honor that. And some people won't, right? But as an adult now, especially at the age that I'm at, I really don't care. I'm going to say what I'm going to say. And if you don't like it, I'm not going to be around you. We're not going to do this. I don't care if you're my family, my soulmate, right? Mother is a soulmate. So didn't deal with her properly, got out of it, kind of ran and hid from relationships, but we're still having terrible relationships, just picking the same people over and over and over again. Not really, picking people who were totally different, but getting the same thing every time, right? Pick cornflakes, you get cornflakes. You pick, you know, Captain Crunch, you get cornflakes. You pick a can of soup, you get cornflakes. You open that thing up, right? Last relationship was horrible. To the point where I haven't actually even had a relationship after that. I drew the line. I see these people are just playing around. I'm putting my heart into this. I'm not going to do this anymore. And I cut it off, right? Well, spending a little time alone kind of helped me to realize what my role in that whole thing was, right? How I would let people walk all over me. How I would let people say whatever. Just be totally mean for no reason, right? These were people who were supposed to love me. Hello. So the last relationship was just like my mother. Same issues, same treatment, same problems. And I realized after spending some time by myself that if I would have dealt with my mother properly, I wouldn't have had to go through that. That was the worst thing I ever had to go through, that last relationship, to the point where I was not going to have any more. I'm still not convinced I am. I don't need it. I've been here happier than I've ever been not dealing with narcissists. Now, having said that, a lot of times with empaths, I'm an empath, we do have to deal with narcissists because we need to learn that lesson, because we need to learn how to step up for ourselves, to stick up for ourselves, to tell somebody, hey, I'm not going to tolerate that anymore. You need to stop. But if you don't stop, if I can't make you stop, because that's not what this is about, I keep trying to make you stop, I'm just going to do this, right? That's where this comes in. People always act like they can't walk away. Are you kidding me? I keep saying, I don't care if you're my family, soulmate, I will walk away from you. You will never see me again. That's the way it goes. I'm gonna try to get a couple more cards out of this. That's your power. Being in a situation, standing in your trench, continuing to dig another hole, or moving to the side and then starting to dig another hole, that's not your power. You need to go back to the beginning and start planning stuff. Hey man, don't talk to me anymore. We're done. Until you can learn. Never have to say goodbye forever, but if somebody doesn't want to learn, let them go make somebody else's life hell. Let somebody else go dig a bunch of trenches. Right? Breaking the cycle. It's not even just about when we don't break the cycle, like we're not breaking the cycle, we're creating more pain. We're causing more for us to have to heal from, to go through. We didn't even have to go through that, right? Kind of wish. I learned something, sure, but it was something I should have learned before. You know, I just thought people were mean. I didn't get it. So wake up. It's your moment. So before, it was their moment. They were pulling stuff. They were lying to you, making promises that they never intended to keep, making you feel like you were this or you were that, or every time something happened, it was your fault. Sometimes you knew it wasn't, and you took the blame anyway because you don't want to fight about it. Forget who you are. This is the deprogramming card. Sometimes there's a belief that's keeping us in that hole. We need to find out what that belief is and get out of it. It's probably not even true. It usually isn't. But even if it was, we could change it. You can change it. You're not stuck with whatever somebody puts on you or what your own brain puts on you when it doesn't believe that you could free yourself, right? This says conditioning falls away. Memory no longer defines you. So again, when we're moving out of the trench, we cannot take those same beliefs with us that kept us in the trench. We're going to have to leave some things behind in the dirt. Follow your own good advice. Some of you know how to get out of this. This is what I was talking about in the beginning, where you kind of figured it out and you're like, I'm not running another cycle. But then you're not sure if you can really break the cycle. Like I said, if you're dealing with a family member, if you're dealing with your mom, and you're kind of like, well, how do I do this? How do I do this? I'll tell you something. You keep messing with me and I'll stop talking to you. I'll just stop talking to you. I don't care who you are. I don't want to wake up every morning and be subject to somebody else's bullshit because they're unhappy. Especially in a relationship. Somebody who's supposed to love me? You kidding me? Ha! I'd rather wake up and just feel the love. Right? I'm telling you. This is lead the way. Be a leader. Show others how it's done. You can help others. So this is usually the card of if you see what's going on, that you need to be the one to make the move. A lot of times we think, oh, how could this person treat me that way? They don't mean to. They really love me, this and that and the other thing. They understand what's going on just like you understand what's going on. In fact, if they're doing it, they probably have more of an understanding of what's going on because they're creating it. And then we get stuck in their field, not planning anything, digging holes. Right? This is falling. The unknown, descent, momentum, change. So this is always my card of like the act of changing. So it's a possibility, like I said, in whatever stage you're in this situation, that you haven't fully come to the realization yet that you can make a difference for yourself, or that you haven't come to the realization yet that things aren't going to change, or you haven't come to the realization yet that you're changing. Because sometimes we just wake up in the morning and we go, screw this, I don't even know why I'm in this. You know, because we get to the point where our personality flips and we just decide, I'm not doing that anymore. People used to say, life's too short, life's too short, life's too short. But they always used to use it in an escapist kind of way. Well, I cheated on her because life's too short. That's not what we're talking about. That's creating karma, right? Could have just got out of it, started another relationship. Now you hurt this person. If that person doesn't let you go, now they're tied to you karmically. And even if you want to walk away going, ha, 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 I did this to this person, you're tied to them karmically. It won't feel like a trench, but it will be. Especially when it comes back around and knocks you in the forehead, right? The next person that comes around and treats you the exact same way. It doesn't matter if you're the person that got treated that way or you're the person that's treating others that way. Anybody you see and anything that ever goes around comes around? You ever seen that person that treats that person bad and then goes off and then gets that other relationship? They love that person. That person does the same thing to them. You go, oh, karma, karma. Karma's everywhere. It's balance. Your balance is on the table. Now the moons don't want to talk. I'm going to go through it one more time. The moons don't come out. We're going to pull some. I don't think I've ever seen the heart on the table 3 times. That's extremely significant to me. As far as I'm concerned, the heart is on the table 3 times, walking away is on the table 2 times, and abundance is on the table 2 times. If you're knee deep in this, you have no idea what's coming to you, Cancer. No idea. Sometimes when I channel, I just keep trying to get cards to come out and I go an extra turn. Here, what do we got? All right, let's see. Okay, so, all right, so Cancer, there might be a Pisces involved. This is new moon in Pisces, attuned to the divine. This is kind of like what we're talking about with the divine energy, walking away from the 3D, going towards the 5D, taking care of ourselves and leaving behind whoever doesn't want to come with us, doesn't want to help us out, wants to hurt our heart, wants to convince us that we're something that we're not, whatever is going on there that's keeping us in that hole. Because even if we were comfortable, it doesn't feel good. Comfort doesn't necessarily denote feeling good. Comfortable is could be being afraid of the next thing that's coming at you. No, I'm comfortable here, thank you. I'm afraid of what to wish for. I'm every time I go towards something, I get hit with dirt. It's being comfortable is not necessarily a good thing. That's why we always say to move out of your comfort zone. Again, being comfortable was what kept you in a situation where you were picking the same people over and over again, right? You find something new. Some women go, oh, he's too nice. Okay, well then you're not ready for him and you need to adjust yourself, because you're going to keep bringing those people who are not so nice. And then you're going to be complaining about it. You're not going to understand why. You're going to be standing in a hole. This is first quarter moon in Aquarius. Trust the universe. Even when you're in situations like this, it's hard to trust the universe. The universe brought you the situation. I mean, you sort of brought it, but the universe brought it to you based on your beliefs and your emotions and your feelings, what you were ready for, what you were attracting, where your energy was, right? So you have to trust that if you can change those things, that the universe will just glide you right out of the situation. We're at new moon in first quarter, and we also have another new moon. Some of you guys might be in the beginning of this. This is new moon in Libra. Know you are loved. Sometimes we're still in the trench because we're chasing love from others. We don't know how to give it to ourselves. We don't know what that means. We totally can give to other people to the point where we're over giving, but we have no idea what it means to give to ourselves. That's the other reason why sometimes you just need to walk away. Stop paying attention to that person. You break the cycle. If you could be away from people and then stop giving other people stuff, then you will hopefully turn inward and start giving yourself things, so that when you have those things, you're not chasing it from other people. I thought about this earlier, giving yourself love, but now it's kind of like, if the situation and the people around you aren't doing it, if every single goddamn soulmate in your life doesn't want to give you any love, you might need to do that for yourself. Honestly. And then you'll always have it, because you always had it anyway. You were giving it to other people. Like sometimes we're giving it away. We're like, why aren't we getting it back? Why aren't we getting it back? Well, why aren't you giving it to yourself? I mean, it's there. It's readily available to you. You're ready to receive. Why not just do that? And then when the other person comes, the narcissist comes, and they see you giving yourself love, there's a possibility that they won't even deal with you, because you're not easy pickings for their crap. Because you're not starved for attention. You're not starved for love. They can't dangle anything over your head talking about, well, if you jump through this hoop, I'll give this to you. Yeah, you'll give that to me, but you give a bunch of other stuff to me that I don't want. Right? This video has gone a little over, Cancer. I'm ready to pull the blind spot. The most that I can tell you, if you're not coming with us to the extended, is pay attention to your heart. Just pay attention to your heart. If your ideas and your thoughts and your feelings aren't making you feel good, this is part of the issue. Even if you're knee deep in crap, you're standing in a hole, reminding yourself every single day when you wake up that you're standing in a hole is not going to help you. You need to get to the point where you're going to walk away from the way that you're thinking about these things, so that you can be in another mindset, so that you can bring other things to you. You need to cut off the things that are keeping you stuck. Just say no. Just say, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. I care too much. I care more about myself getting through life in a way that's with ease and like fun, let alone comfort, than I do letting this other person who's making my life be difficult. I care about myself more than them. You have to, because otherwise you're going to keep, having to unbury yourself. And again, this is not an accident. When we're stuck, we might be keeping ourselves stuck on accident with our beliefs and maybe even our actions. But if someone else is keeping us stuck, that's usually not an accident. And we're not even really trying to get out, because we don't even really realize what's happening, right? We have to be completely uncomfortable to want to move. And the universe is always trying to get you to move anyway. It's the reason why you get more and more uncomfortable. So maintain some kind of positive attitude. Remember that you are switching. You're switching from this trench into something else. You have that law of divinity here, and you have that law of karma. You are more powerful than whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through, whoever you're going through. If they're wrought with negativity, you are more powerful even if you don't feel it. I could go into a whole nother story about why, but we don't have time. So if it comes up in the extended, we'll talk about the extended. So if this is your reading, Cancer, meet us over at the extended. And if not, until we meet again,